Hey, everybody. Welcome to Downballot. Welcome, podcast listeners. Live viewers, you're not going to see this because we're not live. We had some technical issues last night. The show's usually live on Sunday, or the show's usually live on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Pacific on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. You can support the project at patreon.com/Echoplex or at eplex.store. Also, you can just go to the website Echoplex Media. Click the support link and make your own decisions from there. I'm Producer Dave. You can find me on Blue Sky at Plex-Dave.
And with you, as always, is the Councilman. You can find me on Blue Sky at PJ Allen TWO. That's PJ Allen 2. You could also find me applying for the now vacant District 4 San Francisco Supervisor seat, although I don't know where I would submit my application and what kind of vetting I'd have to go through, but I've certainly never left any frozen animals in a pet store freezer.
Yeah, but you're carpet bagging.
Yeah, it's the name of the game these days. You go where the money is, where the votes are.
Well, let's see. We got for leading off, it looks like Mayor Ed 210, that's Daniel Lurie out of San Francisco, appointed someone for a vacant supervisor seat. And well, they seem to have had some problems, and the vetting process was probably not very much other than vibes. Here's some news on it from KPIX, CBS Bay Area 5.
Now to San Francisco, where the city's newest supervisor has stepped down. Isabella Alcarez was only on the job for 1 week after she was handpicked by Mayor Daniel Lurie. Kelsey Thord has more on the controversy that led to her leaving office.
And that search is now underway again. And let me be clear on this. This is not the first time that I have gotten something wrong. It won't be the last. But what I commit to all of you and to the people of San Francisco is that I'm going to learn from this and I'm going to grow.
On the steps of City Hall, Mayor Daniel Lurie apologized to the city, more specifically to the Sunset District, after the supervisor he appointed to represent the district just last week announced her resignation, following allegations of unsanitary practices and potential tax evasion during her time as a local pet shop owner.
The news that came to light yesterday was new to me, but we are going to thoroughly review our vetting process, and we will get better. But let me be clear, that rests on my shoulders.
29-year-old
I love that he's like, this thing that I did is my fault, just so we're clear about it.
Right. Like there's absolutely no equivocation anywhere in any news outlet or blog outlet or podcast / vidcast. No one is saying that it's not Ed 210's fault. Like,
right,
bro. Thank you for owning up. Thank you for owning it. But yeah, no one is disputing that at all.
Alcarez had no previous political experience. Instead, she had owned the Animal Connection, a pet shop in the Sunset, for a few years. The pet store's new owner, Julia Baran, shared text messages with Mission Local, appearing to show Alcarez admitting to paying workers under the table. Baran told me when she learned Alcarez had been appointed supervisor last week, she felt it was only right to share the information with the city and the media.
Came out on Monday, how she left the store and how I thought, someone that couldn't run a store could run the Sunset, basically. And I also thought I showed that she wasn't really truthful about, her qualifications.
This is just the latest political drama in the Sunset District in recent years. First, it was the negative impacts of the years-long Taraval Street construction project, culminating in the passage of Prop K and the closure of the Great Highway. Sunset voters were so upset over that closure, they recalled the former supervisor Joel Engardio. Alcarez was set to be his replacement. Albert Chow has been along for the ride for it all. He's lived in the district for almost 50 years, is a member of the local Merchants Association, and was a huge opponent of Prop K. He told me before Alcarez was appointed, he had even thrown his hat into the ring to become supervisor.
And we just thought it would be a natural evolution to go with somebody that came out of the recall.
Albert says he was surprised when he learned Alcarez had been appointed because he had never heard of her. In the wake of all this scandal, he told me he feels bad for Alcarez and just hopes the mayor does a better job of vetting candidates this second time around.
I hope that we do better on the next round. That's what I can say. Ball's in his court. I'm just waiting to see what happens.
The mayor says the search for a new supervisor is already underway. And for those who live in the Sunset, he says he's listening loud and clear.
But I've been out there quite a bit listening to and working with the community. Their voices are being heard loud and clearly, and we need to get them a great supervisor.
Alcaraz did release a statement saying she has spent her life serving the Sunset and she will keep doing exactly that.
No, she is. Oh, God. Yo, so like I was saying last night, I think this is sort of like possibly one of the things that happens when you like appoint somebody who hasn't run for office before. Maybe if you do it in a hurry or whatever, like because Oppo research on her, if she had actually run for this, her own Oppo research team would have found this, right? If you were her campaign manager, you would have found this on all this stuff on the first day that you were working for, I presume.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the first things you're very astute that you do when you sit down with a candidate for the first time. It's like, okay, I hate to ask this, but what do you got? Like, lay it all out, lay all the cards out, right? Tell us where all the skeletons are buried so we can go check it out. And if something needs to be done, we scrub it, right? Like that's almost number one, especially in a high profile race like this. I could see this happening in San Jose. I could absolutely see this happening in San Jose because no one's paying any goddamn attention, and it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal to people. When there's this much scrutiny as you have in San Francisco, it gets to be national scrutiny. And you're kind of you're already under the radar, as this upstart mayor from outside of politics, right? It's almost imperative. It's number one. I would say you'd like to focus on your values and your priorities and all the things good things you want to do in government, but it really does break down to that. Like, what are they going to come at you with, and how can we, push back on it or nullify it? And it's sad. It's a sad.
Or instead of pushing back and nullifying on it, just get out in front and be the first one talking about it.
Yeah, or own it, like nullify it by owning it, right? Yeah, or lessen the blow, or even turn it around, right? It's one of the first things you do. It's great. It would be great to have a candidate who didn't have some sort of skeleton in the closet. I have yet to meet that person. Of course, I had you, so that was unfortunately. I had this sorry, not you. This network is my skeleton in the closet. So who knows if that actually hindered or helped my campaign? No one will never know because it was not successful. Anyway, I do agree with you though. There should have been some even basic vetting would have turned this up if it was just this, Now the owner of her former pet store was the one who stepped up. Like that's a pretty obvious,
right? That's
person to ask.
Like, wouldn't you just send somebody there? Like just the pet, because if the pet store wasn't there anymore, yes. Okay. Like sure, you can't really look that. You'd maybe look into paperwork or whatever. But if the pet store is still there and she sold the thing to somebody, I don't know. I'd do my first day. I'd probably be like, oh, you used to own a pet store and it's still open. I'd be like, let's go talk to the person that owns the pet store.
Right. Like, have we talked to that person? The application process seems very vague. I don't know what was required, right? I don't know what they checked out, but they really should have done their homework a little bit better in this case. I don't see why that didn't happen other than incompetence or just flawed logic. Like I mentioned last night, like the tech bro coming in trying to run a government like a business, right, and wanting to be more efficient and get things done and get it over with, right? And they probably had some AI bot on the application process, like, hey, AI, spit out who the best applicant is. Oh, it's this this person, but obviously blew up in their face this time.
I mean, I feel like a smart way to do this would be to like find some kind of neighborhood association and get with them and see if they have any suggestions for people who maybe thought about running but decided not to. Or, people who would have the support of like at least, whatever the fucking local fucking chamber or whatever. I mean, fuck the Chamber of Commerce, but
sure. Yeah. Talk to the dude from who, led on the recall effort who'd been there for 50 years, right? Like he didn't know who this person was. So even that alone should tell you a lot of things, but yeah, there's always, especially in San Francisco, plenty of folks out there, who are looking for a political leg up. And more than likely, if there was some sort of public application process, I can't imagine they didn't submit applications. But it's just really unclear how they accepted applications, how they reviewed them, how this person was chosen, and why this didn't come up during the vetting process. But perhaps we'll learn more from the candidate or the supervisor, the one Scaramouche supervisor, her own words, here from ABC7 in an exclusive interview.
And we have a breaking news update from San Francisco City Hall now after Supervisor Bea Alcaraz abruptly resigned just 7 days after her appointment.
Alcaraz told San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie she would step down amid growing scrutiny over her past business practices.
ABC7 News political reporter Monica Madden has been digging into this all week long, and she joins us now with the very latest. And
maybe this reporter should have done the vetting.
An exclusive interview that you had with Alcaraz. What did she tell you?
Well, first and foremost, we waited outside of her office all day to get her. And something I want to note, Karina and Larry, is City Hall insiders tell me they were initially shocked when Mayor Daniel Lurie appointed Alcaraz, who is a 29-year-old political novice with no prior experience in government. But quickly, these allegations about her previously owned pet stores operations and bookkeeping came to light, with many in San Francisco politics now asking, how did the mayor's office miss these red flags?
Mayor Daniel Lurie owning up Friday.
Yeah, I'm taking responsibility in my office.
After his controversial pick for supervisor, Bea Alcaraz resigned Thursday night.
We are going to thoroughly review our vetting process, and we will get better. But let me be clear, that rests on my shoulders.
On Wednesday, I interviewed the new owner of Alcaraz's former pet supply store in the Sunset neighborhood. I wanted to learn about the financials of the business, and we obtained profit and loss statements showing Alcaraz was losing tens of thousands of dollars every year from 2020 to 2023. The allegations intensified. Julia Baran, the new owner of the Animal Connection, shared text messages she and Alcaraz exchanged in March. Baran was asking about the payment of employees, revenue, and cash.
We verified the validity of the text messages in which Alcaraz makes claims about skimping out on her business taxes.
In the messages, Alcaraz says her taxes, quote, will be less since I pay people under the table now. Alcaraz goes on to say she wrote off personal expenses as business ones, saying, quote, I also live off a big portion of the non-cash revenue. I pay for my dinner and drinks with my friends or clients as a business expense, and they may or may not pay me back in cash. We wanted to ask Alcaraz directly about these.
Also, not for nothing, she had a laughing emoji.
That's the best part, right? I did this whole illegal shit. Oh, I committed tax fraud. Smiley face.
Gaslight, keep girl boss.
Right.
City Hall just before noon on Thursday. We waited.
Ooh, her name already on the door.
For more than 4.5 hours. Her staff told me she had meetings all day long. Eventually, a spokesperson for the mayor said we could have just 5 minutes with her due to scheduling. The spokesperson watched our interview. I read back these messages and asked Alcaraz if she could explain.
You said that you were using personal expenses and writing them off as business expenses. Is that okay?
No, you know what? I don't know how much cash, is, floating around, but at the end of the day,
oh dear,
any taxes.
This did not start well.
How much cash we may have had, I was there to serve my community and to keep the lights on and to keep my employees paid. And
she should just I'm telling you, at this point, just come out and be like, listen, I'm taking the L here. And speaking of the L, I'm going to go catch the L train.
Instead, she's trying to spin it like she's some sort of community servant, and she's just trying to, give a handout to some people who are part of their luck, right, need a job, and keep them employed. It's
animals well fed.
I also pressed her about how she claimed to pay her employees.
Really so you did pay some employees under the table?
Look, if my friends' kids want to come into town and take summer jobs at the store, sweeping the floor and stocking shelves, I'm going to pay them for that.
With cash, not reporting how you were paying them to the IRS?
I mean,
I think if you look at restaurants and all the other businesses in the area, the summer jobs and the summer hires, they should get paid, and that's what I did.
So you're not denying that you paid them in cash and didn't report it?
Like I said, if you go to restaurants, you go to stores, you go to other businesses, my college summer hires deserve to get paid. They needed a little extra cash. I paid them extra cash because I think they should get paid.
Accounting experts tell us if the allegations are true.
He brought in an accounting expert. Friend, you don't need an accounting expert for this.
No. Although I do want to give one quick caveat here and throw a bone to the former supervisor. It's a little unfair to talk about losing money especially during the recession as a pet store, right? Like there were so many small businesses that went completely under. So it's not entirely fair to be like, well, she lost tens of thousands of dollars during the worst economic downturn in recent memory, economic shutdown. So that's one just thing I'll throw over that way. But she's definitely digging herself a lot of holes with that bone I'm throwing her.
It is not legal, but it is somewhat common for small businesses to write off personal expenses.
You cannot use your business account to pay for personal expenses and deduct them on your tax return. And also, you have to report all your income that you receive in your business. And you have employees, you have to put them on payroll. You can't pay them, quote unquote, under the table. Generally, first you're hit with civil penalties. And if it's really bad, it could be referred to criminal penalties.
It comes after the mayor previously told reporters on Wednesday he was aware of some of Alcaraz's issues.
Did your office vet her?
Absolutely. She can't help that she's 29 years old. Those critiques.
Well, I can't help that I'm 48 years old. What the fuck is that?
Right. And none of us can help that you appointed this person, right? Like, so suddenly it is a thing or it's not a thing. I'm trying to figure out what he's trying to say here. Her age, that is.
Were you aware prior to appointing her that the Animal Connection had struggled financially?
Yes, and absolutely. And I think as a small business owner running a small business during COVID every small business in this city struggled during COVID. And so she gets it more than just about anybody else gets it.
Today, I asked him about what he knew and when.
When did you find out about the claims she made about her taxes?
Yeah, I found out about that last night or yesterday, late afternoon. That was new to me.
Now the mayor will have a second attempt at appointing someone to District 4's vacant seat, balancing political issues like his upzoning proposals in the Sunset and the Great Highway debate that initially landed us here in this situation with, of course, Supervisor Joel Engardio's recall.
Monica, great reporting getting that interview. But talking about the mayor, did he say anything more about the vetting process, how that worked for this office and this position?
Several reporters asked him, what was the process like? What exactly did your office do to make sure this person checked, the normal standards or check for red flags that you look for before you appoint someone to political office? And the mayor declined to give any specifics about that process, saying, we will be doing better this time. We'll be looking into what our vetting process was and reconsidering that going forward. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more scrutiny now on this process for his second pick, but we really don't know how much went into the interview process of this woman. And I think it just goes to show that her inexperience and, some of these things about her background really just weren't looked at in a thorough way.
Yeah, they almost need to do vetting of their own vetting process.
Which is what he said they will do.
Thank you, Matt.
I wonder if the the local press keeps on this story. I wonder what we're going to find out. Where the fuck did she come from? I mean,
right.
not like the way that somebody might ask an Asian woman, okay, where are you really from?
She's Filipino, yeah.
Where the fuck did she come from, though? How did she have access to the mayor? And do you know what I'm saying? How did she have access to the mayor in the first place? For what reason was she considered for this position in the first place?
There probably was some sort of application process. It probably wasn't publicized too well, I would imagine. It probably got around through, like you said, neighborhood associations and chambers of commerce, things of that nature, right? And she more than likely found out about it. Put in an application. Maybe she writes a really good cover letter. You never know. And it got through the mayor's AI scanners, which we all know is probably the first round of defense, and got into the hands of someone who said, "Yeah, this is a great idea." She's a young female Filipino small business owner, checks a lot of boxes when it comes to like, okay, this is a very easy sell, right? If she doesn't have this baggage, right? But if you look at everything else about her, just her demographics, right? There are a lot of demographics that an elected official like Mayor Ed 210 or Mayor of San Francisco would want to ingratiate themselves to. So it just on paper, it would make a lot of sense, but you can look really good. I mean, I can tell you from experience, you can look really good with a good cover letter and a nice clean cut resume. But it does require more vetting if you're going to install someone in an office with this many eyes on it.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's going to come out eventually.
The problem is like maybe Lori is just being smart here, but the problem is he seemed pretty unwilling to say anything about like the application and or vetting process. So I wouldn't be surprised if she knows somebody who fucking knows him, or
I'm
some
massively
version of that.
Yeah, I'm massively speculating here. I have no idea if there was an actual application process. But I know it usually is like that in politics. It's who you know, right? So and whoever has access, whoever is in the room where it happens. Hope I didn't do the harm either. Then that's the ones who get the appointments. Those are the folks who get the seats. Those are the folks who sit in the halls of power because they know people who are also powerful.
Well, we're going to move on to down ballot watch, and it looks like San Francisco supervisor Connie Chan is also going to be running for Nancy Pelosi's seat, and Scott Wiener, I guess, is getting spicy about it. We're going to find out more from KPIX here.
We are still nearly 6 months from the California primary election, but the race to fill Nancy Pelosi's seat in Congress is heating up. Today, San Francisco Supervisor Connie Chan announced she is campaigning for the seat that Pelosi has held for nearly 4 decades. Chan has represented District 1, which includes the Richmond District, on the Board of Supervisors since 2021. Chan is part of a growing field that includes other progressive candidates with varying levels of government experience. And our Brad Hamilton looks at how Chan's campaign could shake up the race.
A new name has entered the race to replace former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. Richmond District Supervisor Connie Chan. Chan met with us in her district to lay out her case for Congress.
I have been a strong voice and a strong advocate for our communities in San Francisco, but I also been pragmatic and strategic as a city's budget committee chair, making sure that we have delivered the resources and the support that our city needs.
Chan immigrated from Hong Kong as a teen. She grew up in San Francisco's public schools and later won her seat on the Board of Supervisors. She says her background, rooted in immigrant and working family communities, is a strength that she's leaned on her entire career and will help in the polls.
I can speak directly to the Chinese American voters who really are almost 30% of the population of this city.
Chan joins 2 other Democrats in the race, State Senator Scott Wiener and Shoykat Chakrabarti, former chief of staff to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Both joined us via Zoom to react to Chan's entry and the state of the race.
I feel like a lot of politics in San Francisco gets defined as in opposition to the other side. And so that's sort of where I see Scott and Connie, and how they define each other. And I'm just trying to bring something new, right? Like I'm really trying to talk about what are the actual problems we face.
He's never delivered a thing for San Francisco, has never even been involved before, and is trying to buy the election. And a new opponent today who's really been very unsuccessful getting anything done at the Board of Supervisors.
Wiener, for his part, seemed to be ready, instantly putting out an internal poll from the summer that showed his favorability rating at 61%, twice as high as Chan's. He also touted a new endorsement from the United Food and Commercial Workers Union. While Chan has never held statewide office, she says she's the best fit for San Francisco in D.C.
Instead of dividing our community and sort of get stuck in this space, I bring stakeholders together. We are going to talk about important issues that actually impact everyday people.
If elected, Chan would become the first Asian American to represent San Francisco in Congress. Sonoma State political professor David McEwen says that is a huge advantage for Chan to pull in voters.
And that becomes a key ingredient because she also locks down not just support of the Chinese community, she locks down the dollars of the Chinese community.
Chan made it clear that she's ready to succeed America's first and only Madam Speaker. And while her opponents may have more name recognition, Chan says that she'll lean on the same approach that got her elected.
We have visited her. Look, we've been underestimated time and again, from our first race until now. But here we are. We're still standing tall and standing strong, and we just won't give up.
While Pelosi endorsed Chan for her current role as supervisor, Pelosi has not endorsed a candidate in the race for her seat in Congress.
So I don't know why the fuck Scott Wiener got all had a while out about that shit. Like,
because he had a long time to think about it. We just talked about one of the first questions you ask a candidate is, well, what you got in your closet? The first question you usually ask is, well, who's running, right? Who's gonna be out there running against you? And more than likely, they saw Connie as a potential candidate Supervisor Chan, as a candidate all along. And they more than likely had, in addition to doing opposition research on your own candidate, you're doing research on the other candidate, and you're coming up with your barbs and your one-liners and your statements about these people before they're even in the race. And more than likely, they had the statement that they released in the can already. It's much more spicy than even what Senator Wiener said there in the story in the live interview. Just basically referring to the fact that, making reference to Supervisor Chan not really accomplishing anything and taking, the victory lap for things that he or others started, and didn't, was touting a lot of things she didn't do. But I mean, that to me, that's what every politician candidate does. But yeah, so they more than likely were ready and chomping at the bit here and came out hard because, they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait for her to announce, it seems like, to say all these things. They probably don't really like her all that much.
It just seems a little bit weird that he wouldn't be like, she just got in the race. He's like, I just found out about this. I don't really have any comment. I look forward to the competition in the race or whatever. And then over time start trickling out this stuff or put it out through surrogates or something so you don't look like a fucking asshole, because that just made him look like a fucking asshole.
It made him look very defensive, right?
Right.
It made him look
like he was like scared, like that he was like that. I guess scared, like worried that she was likely to have like a pretty good chance, and that's for her camp, they're like, oh, he seems to think you have a chance. This is great.
Right. I mean, and she does. She absolutely does. She fits into two demographics that'll be very helpful, the Chinese American demographic and the female demographic. And right now she's the only woman in the race, and that's going to mean a lot, especially when your race was previously between a state senator and a tech bro, right? Like it's, folks are looking for a change, and women are definitely fired up right now. So she has a wonderful shot at this, no matter what her background is. And yeah, I agree with you. That would have been my first response. Well, that's great. Congratulations to her. I hope she dotted all the I's in her paperwork and have a great day.
Right. I look forward to the race.
I look forward to a competitive race on talking about our values and the issues the values we all share as San Franciscans.
You could drop. You're like, hey, I'm polling really well. I have a really high favorability rating, and I think I have a really good chance. And bring it up.
I would love to have seen the poll that generated that, right? Like Scott Wiener kisses babies and loves saving young animals from him. Yeah, right. Connie Chan leaves frozen animals in pet store freezers. Who's more favorable to you?
Now we're going to move on to the California governor race, and I like that you put in the docket. It's Eric Swallowwell. To be fair though, you misspelled that. It's Eric Swallowswell, according to Hamburglar Dan Badandi.
Oh, I didn't. I missed the S. I'm sorry, I missed the extra S there. I thought for sure it was Swallowwell. Yes, that's a little down-ballot-y reference. Actually, it's more of an Echoplex reference. Right.
For people who don't know, former InfoWars reporter and longtime potato Hamburglar Dan was very, very upset about seeing a picture of him in what I would call the most mild of like S&M bondage gear. And then just because he's gay, started calling him Swallow as well, because Hamburglar Dan is an asshole who hates gay people.
Yes, apparently so. Eric Swalwell, current House of Representatives member from the Southeast Bay.
Yeah, like Dublin, Pleasant.
Dublin, Union City. I think he was a Union City Council member prior to getting into elected office and upsetting the local congressman who had been there for way too long. He previously entered the race for president. Folks will recall him, for MSNBC avid watchers will recall him leading the second, I think, impeachment trial of President Trump. But he's now staking a new claim to fame and trying to move up that old ladder of politics. And we'll find out more from the good folks at NBC.
Eric Swalwell is officially running for governor of California, and tonight he's explaining why he's jumping into the race, with some political experts saying he'll have to differentiate himself from an already crowded field of fellow Democrats. NBC's Pete Serratos is in the East Bay with the details.
So I came here tonight, Jimmy, to tell you and your audience that I'm running to be the next governor of California.
Less than 24 hours after officially announcing his plans on late-night television to run for governor of California, Bay Area Congressman Eric Swalwell was explaining how campaigning for the passage of Prop 50 led to his late entry into the race.
I saw from Folsom to Costa Mesa that people are scared, prices are high, and the state needs a fighter and a protector.
Before becoming a member of Congress, Swalwell worked as a prosecutor for the Alameda County DA's office and also served as a council member in his hometown of Dublin. He now prominent Democrats running for governor of California, and he believes his experience in standing up to the Trump administration and also focusing on affordability in the state will resonate with voters.
We bring down prices. We surge housing in the state. We declare a housing emergency in every single city in the state.
But some political experts say Swalwell will need to show specific policies on affordability in order to stand out from the crowd.
You can tout affordability all you like, but eventually it's going to come down to a question of who actually has policies to achieve affordability.
And Republican opponents hope that Swalwell entering the race could benefit them.
Nothing would please me more than for more high-profile Democrats to get in the race, and then possibly where we end up with, given our top two system, 2 Republicans on the ballot in November of 26.
But California will ultimately be up to the voters heading to the polls next November. In the East Bay, Pete Serratos, NBC Bay Area News.
So I think the thing he's going to stand out is that he just looks like he's the Aquavelva man. And that's like, I mean, he's got, look at his fucking, I loved his Aquavelva commercial.
Some like hybrid of the Aquavelva man and the Marlboro man. Maybe they had a baby. So good luck to Congressman Swalwell. Just another Democrat jumping into the race, and somewhere between center and left of center and left of right, God knows where. So the Republican chair is frankly not completely off base, although I would take probably every Republican in the state voting for one Republican candidate to get them into
or two, actually, right?
I'm sorry, for the two of them, like splitting evenly between the two of them, which would be really tough. They would take every Republican in the state voting evenly for both of those candidates, and then another, maybe one more high profile left of center Democrat stepping into the field might make it feasible. But at the end of the day, most of these Democrats who are running are going to drop before it gets too far, and they spend too much money because they can't raise it. And so we'll probably end up with a good handful of like the Katie Porters and the Eric Swalwells who will be able to raise money. And then the next guy we're going to hear about, they'll be in there, they'll be in the mix, and one of them is going to get enough to overcome whatever joke Republican they can come up with. Right now, it's a sheriff, I think, a cowboy sheriff from SoCal.
Oh yeah, we covered him actually before.
Yeah.
It's a sheriff that we've covered, I think, in the past for like being like, the kind of sheriff from outside of the Bay Area that gets on the down ballot fucking docket.
Correct. A very down ballot-y candidate, if you will. So I think that's their best candidate at this point. I think there's some other schmuck who's thinking about running. But yeah, there's a lot of Dems, and there's also this lane that's about this wide for Mayor Ed 209. For whenever you want to jump in the race, Mayor Mahan, we'll be here to cover it. We can't wait for it to happen. The good wife and I have a little pool going, so hopefully I win. If I do, beers are on me. I
think that with Katie Porter and now Swalwell in the race, I'm actually thinking that maybe unless one of their campaigns implodes, I think Matt Mahan may bide his time and wait.
Possibly. He's not very good at biding his time. That's the only thing that really. I'm not sorry. Only thing. It's one of the things that prompts me to think that there's something here. There's a there. In that he jumped ship as a city councilman about 2 years into his term because the mayor's seat was open, and he told another candidate at the time, "Yeah, I've only been here a couple of years, but if I don't go now and take my shot at mayor now, I'm going to miss my moment." And there's a moment right here where he's still in the sort of first term honeymoon phase in San Jose. He's got a couple of years left, so he could run next year for governor, lose, and come right back to running the city and take a shot somewhere else later. But he could, if he stays, he'll be out of office in 6 years, and the governor's office will be filled for at least 8 years. So more than likely, unless someone just totally screws up, right? So he's either setting himself up for someone to win the job and then just screw up royally in their first term, or he's looking at, how do I stay relevant after in my second term as mayor, in my years off after that, before this seat opens up again. So if he's got that ascension kind of succession kind of vibe to him, I don't see how he hasn't considered it. And he's certainly, while he's saying he's not going to, there hasn't been really an equivocal denial yet at all. And he's said one thing and done another many times.
And I don't see him running for state assembly or anything like that as a stepping stone. He's too ambitious for that shit.
Yeah, no, I don't think the life of a legislator appeals to him. When you're just one vote out of many and you have to build coalitions, he's not very good at that. He wants
people
to just
tend
do
not
shit.
to like him for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, he's a C-suite guy. He wants to do shit. He just wants to get shit done and make decisions and have everyone have to go along with it. So he'd be better suited as the San Francisco mayor, who has that kind of executive authority, or Oakland. In San Jose, the mayor just doesn't have that kind of authority, which is a good and a bad thing depending on how you look at it. In certain circumstances, it's actually a really good thing. In some, it's you kind of wish the mayor had more executive authority to push an agenda. I'm glad he doesn't, because I don't really care for his agenda, but that doesn't mean that the next person coming along, I would like their agenda and be upset that we couldn't implement more of it. So that's just San Jose politics for you.
Well, one of my least favorite people that entered the race is Tom Steyer.
This is some. Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
He has good, he spends his money to go after Donald Trump and whatever. He's got to spend his money on something. And I think in the 2020 primaries, I think it was, him and Bernie had a cute little kind of bromance moment at one of the debates where I was like, why are they fucking chumming it up like that? But
the billionaire and Bernie and the billionaire. But this is the least worst kept secret in California politics, and it was made pretty obvious during the Prop 50 campaign. Once Prop 50 was looking like it was going to substantially pass, Tom Steyer's PAC ads turned from being really good, funny, the one we saw with Trump and the French fries, right, watching the news in the Oval Office or the White House. It went from that to being just Tom Steyer looking at the camera saying, we got to save our democracy. So pretty much preemptive gubernatorial TV ad, right? Paid for on the back of another campaign. So, hey, good on him. But anyway, Tom Steyer formally jumping in the race. So we'll hear the quick nothing burger about it from ABC7, and we'll move on with our lives.
Well, another Democrat is getting into the 2026 race for California's governor in what is already a crowded field.
At least 11 candidates have lined up to replace Governor Newsom, who will be termed out.
Yeah, ABC 7 News political reporter Monica Madden sat down one-on-one with Tom Steyer, and she's here with more on the billionaire climate activist.
Why is she dressed like a bellhop?
Who launched his bid for governor today, Monica.
Dan and Amma, Tom and Steyer, of course, as you know, made his fortune with his San Francisco hedge fund, but ditched finance for activism in 2012. And since then, he's been a fixture in state politics, funding progressive propositions. But now Steyer is pitching himself as an outsider willing to shake up Sacramento.
Bring it on. I'm Tom Steyer, and I'm running for governor.
Democrat Tom Steyer is stepping back into the spotlight.
Why governor and why now?
Well, we have an affordability crisis in the state of California.
The mega donor is best known for bankrolling progressive ballot initiatives in the Golden State. And he really stepped onto the national stage after spending $20 million to call for President Donald Trump's first impeachment, propelling him to run for president in 2020. But this time, Steyer isn't focused on Trump.
The biggest issue for Californians is they can't afford to live here. That's a huge deal.
And he's running for office at a time when voters are protesting against the ultra-wealthy.
What's your message to voters in terms of how you can relate to everyday Californians?
Who can you trust not to talk, but to deliver results to make it possible for you and your family to live here affordably and to deliver the services you need? And that's going to be the question. Who has a history of actually getting things done in this state for working Californians, for delivering services, and for taking on the corporate interests who are doing incredibly well, but who absolutely are not paying their fair share?
The climate activist is the second billionaire in the governor's race. Entrepreneur Stephen Klubeck has already shelled out $10 million of his own fortune to bankroll his bid.
Billionaires and very wealthy folks have gotten elected in other places in the country, but they've struggled in California in statewide offices.
Political consultant Jim Ross says it comes down to relatability.
They have a hard time connecting with folks. People tend to want someone who looks like them.
And even a third billionaire could enter the race, with LA real estate mogul Rick Caruso still mulling a run.
Well, there's totally time for other candidates to get into this race, and I expect more.
But Rick Caruso is a giant piece of shit.
You can kind of tell from the photo, right?
Anyone's to win
the haircut.
June primaries next year. A Berkeley IGS poll from late October shows 44% of voters are undecided, with only 2 candidates polling above 10% at this point in the race.
Oh, wow.
And he had made himself more visible with that Prop 50 ad that came out. So timing.
I think that was strategic.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
Really?
even the lady, even the anchor was like, well, we know what the Prop 50 thing was about. That was about his
Yeah,
run for office.
Yes, Alma Dates was like all over that shit, like a fly on a sugar cake. Yeah, so ho hum, welcome Tom to the race. Eric, Tom, Katie, everyone else, good luck. Godspeed.
I don't even know right now.
We'll know more next year. Like by March, April next year, we'll know a lot more. I think you'll see a whittled down field, or maybe a very clear field. But there will be a lot more clarity soon. But yeah, like they said, no one's polling over 10%. So the campaign hasn't begun yet, and no one knows.
Because nobody gives a fuck.
Sure. I mean, nobody really knows these folks outside of their comfort zone anyway. Maybe Swalwell and Porter get a little bit more play on the national scene, but they're really well known in their communities. And outside of that, there's a smattering, but everyone knows someone. Everyone has familiarity with someone in this race. So they're all drawing from different constituencies. They're all, drawing from different bases, but there's not enough money out there for all of them to do well in terms of the statewide kind of communications game you have to have in order to win a race like this. So or to at least be successful.
I mean, based on what I know, I'm probably like generally leaning in the direction of Swalwell. My understanding is that Katie Porter treats her staff pretty shitty. And
that's the common understanding. I don't know personally, but yeah, that is the common understanding.
And if there was anything like that about Mr. Swalwell, especially considering how much he's gone after Trump and how much all the Republicans hate him, that would have been like all the way out on Front Street. And it just doesn't seem like there's any of that shit out there. I know sometimes like these jobs are hard and like, you get frustrated or whatever. And it's one thing to like show your frustration, but it's another thing to be like a shit to the people that are working for you and helping you get your job done.
Oh, sure. And in most cases, the staff are doing the job, frankly. The
right.
elected is there to speak and to be a good figurehead and an ambassador. But at the end of the day, the staff's doing all the work.
And, if you're frustrated, you could just be like, hey, I'm having a really frustrating day. Can we talk about this later? And then the staff's totally going to understand that and actually probably going to respect the shit out of you for that. They're going to be like, the best person I've ever worked for.
Throw the chair out the window, not at your staff.
Right. And then go get the chair yourself. Don't make the staff
get your chair.
It.
Right. Go pay for the damage yourself. Take them all out to lunch.
So we're going to move on to winners and losers here. This is a bit of a follow-up on a story that we've been following. There is a new sheriff in San Mateo County, finally. San Mateo County is just an absolute fucking shit show.
Yes.
For
There
such
should be a
like a
whole get your
rich
shit together
place,
section.
for such a rich place where there's nothing going on, man, the political scene there is just it's not even like the corruption that you're kind of used to. It's kind of like bespoke like single batch San Mateo corruption. It's so weird.
laissez-faire corruption. No, I think actually it's because of the affluent nature of the beast, right? I think in the sort of calm, whatever you want to call it, suburban slash metropolitan slash wealthy enclave kind of vibe. I think that does play into it being a hot mess because there's a lot of money floating around with people who don't know anything about
a lot of money floating around and not a lot to do with it. So
correct. And with that, we're so hopefully the last story in this saga until former Sheriff Corpus sues the pants off of the county. There was an appointment made, and it looks like someone who's going to fit right in San Mateo County, just from the picture.
The San Mateo County Board of Supervisors is officially swearing in the newly selected sheriff. This is a live look from Redwood City, where Ken Binder is taking the oath of office right now. Earlier today, the board appointed Binder to replace ousted Sheriff Christina Corpus, who most recently served as the interim police chief in Gilroy. Do we want to listen in on here? Let's go to Lauren Tom. She breaks down how the board came to this.
We have been...
No, that's live TV. You got to respect that.
I love it.
Hell as a county, and there is great interest in moving forward with clear-eyed intention.
1 year after San Mateo County supervisors launched an investigation into former Sheriff Christina Corpus.
Man, I like their board chambers. It looks like a fucking spaceship.
In a public removal hearing that exposed divisions and allegations of mismanagement, the county has a new top cop.
Motion passes to approve Kenneth Binder as the sheriff.
This is the moment Kenneth Binder, currently Gilroy's interim police chief, clinched enough votes to become the county's next sheriff. Supervisors voted 4-1 to appoint Binder, who spent 2 decades with the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office, where he last served as undersheriff. It's that experience in jails and corrections that supervisors said was needed to stabilize a department still reeling from controversy.
Wait a minute, Jackie Spire. Have we covered her for some reason in the past?
Oh, for sure. No, folks, anyone, folks in local Bay Area politics will recall, and then historians actually will recall, Jackie Spire served as a Congress member for the North Peninsula for many, many years, and then retired from that position and subsequently ran for supervisor because more than likely she couldn't get the bug out of her system. She was famous for being shot in the Jamestown. Was it Jamestown? Jonestown. I don't want to say massacre, but incident down in South America, right, where those San Francisco residents all took the Kool-Aid and killed themselves. So she was an aide to the Congress member who was shot when he went to visit the town or the encampment, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, she spent hours on the tarmac, practically bleeding to death, and then later on became a Congress member. So
it might not be so much that we've covered her; it's that when I get into stuff about cults, we've gotten into Jonestown, and I might have heard her name over and over and over again doing research about that too. Yeah,
also could have been that too, but I'm almost certain we've covered her on Downballot before. But yeah, that also makes a lot of sense.
Still reeling from controversy.
Everyone gets professional police services, both in the community, and that those we're tasked to care with within the jail facilities also know that they're taken care of in the highest possible way.
Binder's unique experience as it relates to San Mateo County, from his experience in Santa Clara County, absolutely weighed in that role.
Board President David Canepa cast the lone vote for candidate David Lazar, a 33-year veteran of the San Francisco Police Department. He said despite his vote, he believes Binder has the potential to rebuild public trust.
This is bigger than the Board of Supervisors. It's bigger than Sheriff. This is about an organization. I'm not even talking about the Sheriff's organization. I'm talking about the county needs to heal.
While Lazar received significant...
The county needs to heal from a wound you inflicted upon them, as far as I can tell.
Right? Self-inflicted wound.
Chief in San Francisco, supervisors ultimately decided to pass on him, as well as third finalist Brian Travis, the police chief of the Solano County Community College District, because of their limited experience running jails. San Mateo County's own jail system has been under scrutiny in the wake of the deaths of 7 inmates since 2023.
I'm going to make sure that leadership is provided in a way, and that public safety services and correctional services are provided in a way that meet the high expectations of the public.
Vowing to stabilize the organization from day one, Binder now takes command of a department responsible for 800,000 residents, overseeing 2 county jails and providing policing for 5 cities without their own police forces. He's tasked with repairing morale among the ranks of the sheriff's office and turning a new page for public safety in San Mateo County.
I know we got a lot of work ahead of us, but I'm going to bring in a team, and we're gonna get the work done.
And Binder's term will go through 2028. He says he's open to running for re-election, but only if he feels if he is a good fit for the county.
I love how he's like, I'm going to bring in a team. Yeah, what do you think? Would we think you weren't going to hire anybody? Like, it's so weird.
Right. Like, you have a team like already, and you're just the boss, right? So you have to work with your team. You're not going to do it all yourself. You're not going to be judge, jury, and executioner, or maybe you will. But yeah, this seems like an aw shucks, very safe choice, and absolutely the backlash to, or not backlash, but the counterpoint to what they had before. Sort of a very passionate and outspoken Latina. We've got the, Andy Griffith basically coming in here to San Mateo County, but maybe that's exactly what San Mateo County deserves and needs and wants. So
yeah, maybe we'll see. If you know what, if this guy just goes there and does his job, we're never gonna fucking hear his name again.
Yeah, and that would actually be the preferred, I think, outcome, especially on Downballot. We spent too much time in San Mateo County already. So let's go somewhere else. Let's go to Vallejo.
Oh God, this Vallejo, man, I feel bad for those folks up there, man. This is that if people don't recall who were listening or whatever, or if you weren't around for that, this was the one where the mayor like walked out of a city council meeting because he was like just like exasperated with trying to do his job in the midst of a police racist police tech scandal that he clearly was not involved in, did not endorse, and had really nothing to do with, and it seemed like he was frustrated with his and like the city's inability to really do anything about it, or to make any kind of positive change vis-a-vis the police. And now it seems like the police chief, who also resigned, has similar feelings about the whole ordeal as the mayor did, and he's said that his resignation had a lot more to do with race than with his performance. So let's see what he has to say here. This is from ABC7.
He was the city of Vallejo's first African-American police chief, but in 2022 he resigned. And now tonight, for the first time since he left the department, we're learning why. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Ashley.
And I'm Amma Dates. Former Vallejo Police Chief Shawnee Williams isn't speaking out about his resignation by choice. It's all part of a deposition into another case.
ABC 7 News investigative reporter Melanie Woodrow has been covering the Vallejo department for the past decade and is in the newsroom to explain what happened, Mel.
Dan and Amma, former police chief Shawnee Williams' deposition is part of a civil case involving the niece of a man who was shot and killed by Vallejo police in 2019 at a Taco Bell drive-thru. According to a federal civil rights lawsuit, she says she was pulled over by 2 of the officers who shot at him a couple of months later, thrown on the ground, tased, and arrested. Her attorney says she was never charged with a crime.
In 2022, approximately 3 months after the Vallejo Police Department Police Officers Association issued a vote of no confidence in then VPD Chief Shawnee Williams, Williams resigned. Now for the first time, he's sharing why. In a deposition with civil rights attorney Melissa Nold, Williams testified his resignation was a result of racial animus and retaliatory things that were happening that made it unbearable or impossible for him to perform his duties in a safe environment. Williams also detailed threats he says he received in the mail. Williams was the first African-American police chief at Vallejo PD. Noel deposed him as part of Diana Jenkins' federal civil rights lawsuit. Jenkins is Willie McCoy's niece. In 2019, Vallejo police shot McCoy more than 50 times at a drive-thru. A couple of months later, Jenkins says 2 of the officers who shot her uncle stopped her, dragged her out of a car, threw her on the ground,
tased and arrested her. Nold says she was never charged with a crime.
From what we can tell, it was racial profiling. The officers were very aggressive.
At the time, Vallejo police said she was combative and resisting arrest. Nold says she deposed Williams because he says he was threatened and forced.
So this is a big red flag. If somebody's not charged with any crime and all they get on you is resisting arrest, this is usually a big red flag for the cops who are fucking harassing you for no reason. You asked, why am I being detained? And they wouldn't fucking tell you. And you're like, you go through what the lawyers tell you to do, and then they fucking get mad at you. And not for nothing, like, they knew there's no way they didn't know who the fuck she was, right? She was probably speaking to the press and whatever, talking about what happened to the family member of hers who 50, man, that dude's dead. What are you shooting somebody 50 times for? God.
We don't do stuff. I mean, we don't generally do stories like that on Downballot, but I swear we did cover this at the time because it was just so crazy.
I think we covered it as we were covering the saga of the mayor and the former police chief. I think that came up, but we didn't cover the shooting like contemporaneously as when it happened. We were covering the political fallout from it, essentially.
Right, and it was right there on body cam footage, like it's right in front of your face, right? As graphic as you want to get, right? That, and the guy, I think it was the guy. They said the guy was reaching for something, in the car, and there was really specious reason why they had pulled him over in the Taco Bell drive-thru in the first place. Like he looked like, or his car looked like a car that had been involved in some sort of other crimes that night. But yeah, from all we can tell, incredibly excessive response to any kind of threat. So not surprising that it may have resulted from some racial tension. So we're going to hear more about what led to the chief's resignation here.
Out of the department for his reform efforts and for disciplining officers, including one of the officers in Jenkins' case.
He was trying to get people terminated, and so he was doing a lot of things that were new and different for the city of Vallejo, and that seemed to be the reason why they forced him out.
The I-team reached out to the Vallejo Police Department for comment. I have not yet heard back. Mike Raines represented the Vallejo Police Officers Association in 2022 when the POA issued its vote of no confidence in Williams. He has a different take on the resignation.
Shawnee Williams was without a doubt the worst police chief I have known in 45 years. The most incompetent, the poorest communicator with his immediate administrative staff and with the entire department. He was the victim of animus, but it wasn't racially motivated. It was because he was incompetent.
In an emailed statement, Williams attorney Jamon Hicks writes, quote, through his years dedicated to public service, Chief Williams made transparency a top priority. Even in his retirement, Chief Williams maintains his core values of honesty, transparency, and dedication to the communities he serves. A joint dispute letter filed by Nold on behalf of Jenkins says that Williams was forced out of his job as chief because he feared for his safety after harassment, racism, threats, retaliation, and intimidation that resulted in 3 formal complaints the city failed to investigate or resolve. The letter also states that during the deposition in question, Williams accused Vallejo Assistant City Attorney Caitlin Knight of trying to threaten and intimidate him in relationship to the deposition. Citing attorney-client privilege, Knight directed him not to answer Nold's questions about how. In an emailed statement to the I-team, Knight denies any intimidation and writes in part, quote, there was no legally inappropriate conduct by counsel for the city. Also that she's prohibited from discussing the contents of the communications at issue due to attorney-client privilege.
Convenient.
Deposition, Williams also stated that he had concerns about the city failing to keep him safe or investigate. Attorney Melissa Nold is seeking to redepose Williams specifically to ask what Vallejo Assistant City Attorney Knight said or did that he felt was a threat or intimidating.
Oh, this is going to get good. This is going to get good.
Yeah, lawsuits always bring out the best in people, and they bring out all the juicy details. So it's going to be fun to see them go back and forth like this. But I do love that line, like, we did nothing wrong, but I can't talk about it.
So the other thing going on here is like the backdrop of this was there was like this texting scandal among like a lot of the police officers where they were using like a lot of racist and homophobic language. And, it might be reasonable for this guy as the first black police chief to assume that the things that they were saying about black folks, they were beliefs that they held about him as well as the police chief. And, you might just think that, some of the stuff that they were saying, some of the ways they were treating him, and that all might be motivated by the same sort of motivations that caused the text messages. I don't know. I'm not a mind reader. Yeah. I can't read these people's minds, but it seems reasonable to assume that might be what's going on.
I think that's more than reasonable. I think that's a very clear-headed judgment call there, and it makes perfect sense that he probably faced a lot of shit, on his way up to the top, this community is very much heavily people of color, right? So he did reflect a lot better, I think, the community he was serving, and maybe that also created a little more animosity or a little bit of otherism within a department that's predominantly like white cowboys, right? And that's really what the profession is a lot of times. So it's no surprise. It would be no surprise if he was facing a severe amount of harassment outside of this whole scandal and him trying to hold his team and his people accountable, right? That's more than likely what he was trying to do, and getting guys to have to own up to their errors, and just probably took a lot of pushback for it. So.
And like that fucking guy that looked like every cop in every cop show that like roughs up the suspect was not really, it's not really the best spokesperson for any of this.
This guy is the worst chief that we ever had, and I'm really glad he's gone. And he's an axe murderer, and he cheated on his wife, and all sorts of bad stuff that I can't go into because attorney-client privilege.
Yeah, like, I don't know. He's a poor communicator and shit. I think that just means he was telling people shit they didn't want to hear some of the time. And like, not for nothing, this guy's a cop too. Like, I don't love the fucking cops or whatever, but it seemed like both he and the mayor, you could see the visible frustration with the state of affairs in the police department of the city of Vallejo,
Yeah, the PO's attorney there. I mean, you could hear racial tropes throughout everything he said about this guy, right? Like, he's such a poor communicator, and he's ignorant, right? He doesn't know anything. It's all just complete racist tropes. So I sympathize. I wish he could sue the city. I don't know if the statute of limitations has run out, but that would make it even more fun.
But
I think to cover it,
he might be. Maybe he's going to stand tall in these depositions.
Yeah, no, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. It's out there. He had to know that was going to be public sooner or later. So he's not shy about talking about it. He just didn't want to do it in any sort of like media. He didn't invite the media for an interview, right? He didn't do a press conference. This is just these are just depositions that are coming out now. So he's probably doing what his attorneys would be wise to advise him to do. Just
go to the deposition and tell the truth.
Yeah. Go be truthful, and good things happen usually when you tell the truth. Usually.
So this is funny that this next story ended up on the feed here, because I swear to you, like on my like computers, I use something called FB Purity to get rid of all the suggested stories on Facebook. So I didn't see this, but on my phone on Facebook when I was checking it, this story was just like
everywhere.
It was like Charlie Kirk assassination levels of amounts of fucking posts about it on my fucking Facebook feed. I have no idea why I don't live in fucking Sebastopol, and I don't give a fuck about Little Caesar. I don't know why it was like, hey, you need to know about this story.
I think it's just because it's a very down-ballot-y story. I think we might have struck a nerve here.
The algorithm knows about this podcast and was like, you need to cover this.
Absolutely. It checks a lot of boxes, right? Small town, backwards ass, corporate greed, community outcry, and just in general, the small town song really stands out, I think, when you hear a story like this. So it fits a lot of the algorithm. I can see why it ended up in your feed, and I'm glad it ended up in mine because we can cover it now.
Well, to change gears, Little Caesar's Pizza is hot and ready to move into Sebastopol. But some neighbors are ice cold about it. People say they do not want chain restaurants in their little town.
On top of all of this, even city officials say it shouldn't be there. But how did this all happen? Don Lynn explains.
Business owner Francesca Malera-Balak loves Sebastopol for its small shops, local flavors, and a downtown that doesn't look like anywhere else. That's why this surprised her.
Disappointing that big mistake like this will go through.
The city admits it accidentally approved a Little Caesars in the downtown core, even though chain stores have been banned there since 2018. And for Francesca, who owns Attical, a consignment furniture store, this isn't about pizza. It's about what Sebastopol stands for.
Something like that, I don't know. It doesn't add to the charm of the place, and it will bring away maybe business from somebody who is, who maybe has a higher quality of ingredients.
City leaders say they discovered the mistake only after Little Caesars had already begun building out the space, and by then they couldn't legally stop the project.
It's an error. The city of Sebastopol has taken ownership and admitted we made an error, an administrative error, an approval, but Little Caesars, I guess, took that approval and ran with it and started making improvements. And so they had a vested interest by the time we realized our error, and we had to let them move forward.
But not everyone sees it as a problem. Some younger residents told us they're glad to have a cheap, quick option.
For me specifically, I do like it. Gotcha. Because I'm a big fan of it.
He's like, when me and my friends blow like 7 bleezies, we absolutely will destroy fucking $20 worth of Little Caesars pizza.
And the breadsticks, bro. Don't forget the breadsticks.
And for them, price matters.
I mainly just like it because it's cheap. It's not really like the best food, but it's cheap enough for me.
Councilwoman Nisa Hinton says at this point, it's up to the customers.
The consumer now will decide whether they like it or not with their pocketbook. I point out we don't have a Burger King and we don't have a McDonald's in Sebastopol. They both went out of business.
What do I think about Little Caesars? I don't think it's necessarily a part of our community here in Sebastopol. There's a lot better pizza to be had in Sebastopol, so that's where I'll be going.
Steve DeCoste runs the only pizza restaurant in the downtown core. He's not thrilled, but he's not losing sleep over it either.
We're just building a resilient community, one pizza at a time. And so it won't impact us because of the quality of what we do. And we're really supported by our community and they understand this.
As for Francesca, she says what matters now is making sure the next application doesn't slip through the cracks.
Original as possible so that people come into town and they see new stores that are unique.
The city says it's added safeguards to make sure this kind of mistake doesn't happen again. As for Little Caesars, it plans to open its doors to the public sometime in the coming week.
So I don't know, man. This is fine. I don't know. As far as like big fast food chains, you don't really think. I know Little Caesars is a massive chain, probably run by some fucking private equity company or whatever. But it's not like a fucking McDonald's, right? I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, and frankly, McDonald's, it's like there's a McDonald's in Sedona, and they all they had to do was change their golden arches to, I think, turquoise or something, whatever the city color is. This doesn't bother me seeing Little Caesars pop up anywhere. It's the free, this is the market we live in. This is the system we've built. Like, it's the free market. So if they think that they can make some money setting up shop in Sebastopol, then they're more power to them, right? It doesn't seem like anyone else was looking to rent that space out necessarily. And like they said, if you make a better pizza and you offer it, for a reasonable price, it's not like people are going to flock to Little Caesars all the time. Maybe it's just healthy competition. But the thing that really stands out about this story is how you made a mistake. You missed this. What kind of application and vetting process do you have in Sebastopol for your new businesses? It must be a lot worse than the vetting process for a new supervisor in San Francisco, because you missed that. You missed an entire city ordinance about chain restaurants. I'm guessing that was a pretty big deal when it was passed, and it was only passed 7 years ago. So do you have the COVID fog? What's going on here? I don't understand how more than likely multiple staffers and council members and officials missed this, it's so laughable. Well, and then Little Caesars just went ahead and took that approval and ran with it. It's like, well, yeah, you approved their business, so they're setting up their business. What are you making them out to be scandal, right? Or scandalous? No, you gave them a permission to do this. Why? If it's against the rules, why did you do that, right? So yeah. Tough. I
think it's going to do great. I think it's because if she said that there's no other fast food essentially in Sebastopol, Like, I think it's going to do great.
Homeboy and his friends who blow a few dubs are they have nowhere else to go for $5 pizzas, so might as well go to Little Caesars.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if there was one in my there's a Domino's in my neighborhood. Gross. I'd fucking prefer Little Caesars any day.
Domin knows. You would know from the commercials, man. They make that stuff look pretty good, but I haven't had much of any pizza outside of like my local shop in a while, so we are a little spoiled here where I'm at, so we've got some options.
All right. Well, BART needs to get their shit together again. It looks like BART vandalism somehow halted BART trains between Hayward and San Jose recently. So let's see what happened there.
Good morning.
Check it out.
Thanks so much for joining us for our midday news. I'm Laura Garcia.
And I'm Marcus Washington. Developing this midday, still no word on when BART service will be restored between Hayward and San Jose.
NBC Bay Area's Bob Riddell joins us live from the Hayward BART station. Bob, a vandal is behind this morning's major disruption. What did they do?
We don't know yet. BART is just saying that a vandal destroyed or vandalized some equipment wayside, which means along the track somewhere here in the East Bay, we presume, or perhaps in the South Bay. But right now, as a result, there's no service between Hayward BART, which is right here behind me or to the side of me, and in Berryessa, which is down in San Jose. So people can go north from Hayward BART, but they can't go south. So that's why you have a lot of people presumably standing here at the bus stops who came from the north, got off here at Hayward BART, and now they're waiting for the bus bridge to take them further south to other destinations that you can't get to again right now on the BART line. This disruption, we believe, started around 5 o'clock this morning. This was the scene earlier at South Hayward BART, one stop behind me, where there was no service. Yeah, a lot of people showing up early for their Friday morning commutes, and then unfortunately learning in the news that there was no service and they were having to make other plans. This is really before the bus bridge was in effect, or at least they were aware of the bus bridge, so you had a lot of people on their phones calling for that Uber, calling for that Lyft, calling for their family members, and having these kind of conversations with the station agents.
We're all expecting to get to work, and we come and gates are down.
Where are you coming from? Where are you going to?
I'm here from Union City. Go to Civic Center, San Francisco.
Okay, got it. So you normally take South Hayward BART to SF?
Correct.
So what's your plan now?
My wife is still here. Hopefully I'm going to work today.
For me, it'll be rideshare. There was a bus bridge, but I'm not really. I'm lucky in that I kind of have a comfortable start window when I start, and I can afford the lifts.
So again, BART say vandals did something to some equipment along the tracks. This is something they've been working on, trying to fix, and they have not yet given us an estimated time of when that piece of equipment will be restored. So again, there is a bus bridge. AC Transit's helping with that, and then VTA is helping with it as well. From Hayward BART, where we're at, all the way south to Berryessa, again, where you have a lot of people out here just trying to get on with their Friday mornings. But unfortunately, because of this individual who vandalized that equipment, there's a lot of disruption. So again, no estimated time of when they're going to have that equipment fixed and have this service restored again from Hayward BART down to Berryessa. Reporting live here at Hayward BART, Bob Riddell, Today in the Bay.
You know, that bus bridge fucking all to Berryessa from fucking Hayward during commute, that's fucking gonna take forever.
That's rough. That's absolutely rough. I mean, the guy whose wife is right there, it's like, why are you making her drive you all the way to San Francisco? Just, you're in South Hayward, have her drive you to the Hayward station. Done. Have a nice day. But yeah, you gotta feel for the people who can't afford a freaking Lyft. Like, at least the guy now acknowledged his privilege. You know, you don't have a flexible work schedule, right? You don't have any other options. Like, this is how you get to work. And you don't have a spouse you can call to pick you up, or a family member, and you don't have, you can't do any of that. You can't wait for the bus bridge either because you're already late for work. So you have to feel for those folks. And this is just not that. This is right before it just happened. I think last 48 hours, there was a fire or a mini explosion and electrical fire in one of the downtown, the Civic Center BART station in San Francisco that shut things down for a while. So it's just another in a string. It seems like we do this every week now. It should be Get Your BART Together, as the section of this show, because it's just piling on top of each other. And frankly, it takes a lot to run a system like this, right? And it's an aging system. You're going to have problems. But it's not a good look for them, especially when they're going to be part of a coalition that's going out next year to pass a bond, a Bay Area wide transit bond, to fund transit, throughout the Bay, and BART is an integral part of that. And it's just not going to be a good look to see all these outages and this, not incompetence, but just these mistakes really and problems, earned or not. That's not going to look good to voters when they think about, am I going to pay my tax dollars to pay down a bond to fix what, right? To make this somewhat better? Who knows? So.
Yeah, I mean, like somebody vandalizing something is outside of their control, but it just seems like there are other things that have happened. Like, I don't, you'd mentioned the explosion or fire or whatever at Civic Center. I don't know what that was. Was that vandalism too, or was that just equipment failure? It just seems like it's, well, you're right. It's like one thing after another.
Yeah, they said it was aging equipment in San Francisco. It was dusty, apparently. Some dusty electrical outlets or something just caught fire. It looked pretty bad. It scarred the wall pretty bad. It shut things down for a while. And at the end of the day, no one got hurt. Nothing out of the ordinary. Right? There was really
and the difference is in San Francisco, if you have to shut down Civic Center, it's like very different than like what happened in the South and East Bay, right? Because you shut down Civic Center BART, there's basically a duplicate system under Market Street with Muni Metro, where I don't know for sure, but also you could walk from Civic Center to Powell.
Sure, yeah, it's all very condensed in that space. So, but again, it's just more bad looks than anything else, right? Like I said, it's rough running an old system like that. Vandalism. I mean, how can one person, even, I know it's not entirely their fault, but how could one person get access to equipment to the point where they could shut down BART for a long stretch of the system? So. A lot of questions they're going to have to answer when, as we've already said in this episode, the more scrutiny you get, right? The closer you get to that election day, the more scrutiny you're going to get. And if this is on the ballot next year, Caltrain, BART, the whole system are going to have to answer for every mistake they've ever made, because that's what people remember. They remember the days when things shut down, not the many, many days when everything runs smoothly, right? And nothing goes down.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see how it goes. Well, I'm sure we'll be covering the ballot initiative as that comes up too.
For sure.
And I rely on BART. But again, like, I'm lucky. Like, if I was heading to anywhere, actually, my parents are fucking retired. I'd be like, hey, Pops, the BART's shut down. You need me to come pick you up? You'd be like, hell yeah, I get out of the house today. I have something to do. Like, again, not everybody has that, right?
Yeah,
even some people who have like retired parents or whatever, they're not like, oh, hell yeah, let me help you out, right? Or, it's inconvenient to them, or some people's like family or like have other things to do, or don't have a car anymore, or
or they're still working, frankly, like their parents are still working because they have to till their old age because they need to pay the rent, right? Anyway, well, shall we go to another thing before we get out of here?
Yep.
So this week it's back to animal interest stories here on Another Thing. There were no auto versus structure stories that I could find in the past 2 weeks. So hey, good on you, Bay Area. But we're going to learn more about an alpaca that made its home in Fremont, in your old neck of the woods.
Between 6 to 8 million dogs and cats are abandoned every year in the U.S., and as we are fast approaching the time when people give animals as gifts.
But all sorts of other animals are given up as well. Brian Hackney has a story of one that popped up on a family's land near Fremont.
Heading up into the East Bay Hills from Mission Boulevard, Chris gets ready to start another day.
We're up in the Mission Fremont Hills. We're about 10 miles east of downtown Fremont.
He's on the ranch that's been in the family for years.
Yeah, it's our family property. Yeah, our dad picked it up at a foreclosure auction in the 70s.
A lot of critters roam these hills.
We have coyotes, bobcats, raccoons, the occasional mountain lion, and then there's an alpaca that somebody just dropped off one day. Just showed up.
Yep. Incredibly, this guy was just dumped on the ranch.
Sometimes they're surrendered to us because people just can't handle it.
It's a story the Marin Humane Society's all too familiar with.
So where are we headed?
Lisa Block is director of marketing.
We have a barn and a paddock, and we don't usually get a lot of barnyard animals, but on occasion we do. Yeah. Oh, look at BB. Oh, he's beautiful.
Lisa's got a theory about why someone would pick up large farm animals in the first place. Because they sure look cute on Snapchat.
We see a baby llama, we think, oh, I want that. Wouldn't that be fun? And the next thing you know, you have a very large llama that you don't know how to care for, or a rooster that maybe you're not even allowed to have.
We've got 3 alpaca ourselves, actually, but we let them roam and do their thing. You're okay, buddy. Go to your brothers.
If they're very lucky.
That's a happy piggy.
Unwanted animals end up with this guy.
Yeah, Matt Robin, Rancho Robin Rescues. We're a farm animal sanctuary. We take care of approximately 250 farm animals that have been abandoned, neglected, abused, and we give them a forever home. All right, come and get it.
Sometimes they're simply surrendered as being too much to handle.
But oftentimes it's somebody who just kind of drives it in the middle of the mountains and lets it go, which we've had many an animal show up here that way. Yeah, get it. Oh, you dropped it.
It's often because someone has not done their homework before they acquired that animal.
It might explain why an alpaca was abandoned in the hills of Fremont. But that's just piling one bad decision on top of another.
We always try to remind people that if you're overwhelmed, there is help. You can always call your local animal shelter. If they can't take in the animal, they can refer you to rescue.
For you and for you.
And there are a lot of farm sanctuaries and barnyard rescues now, which are fantastic.
Good boy.
Including the one run by Matt.
Oh, is that yummy?
Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share?
Please keep your alpaca to yourself.
We know they look cute on Instagram, and everybody wants their own TikTok channel with their baby llamas and emus and things like that. Baby emus are very cute, but it's just not fair to the animals. So we hope people will just reach out for advice first. On cue.
So cute.
Alpaca's probably not a good family pet.
Probably not a good Christmas gift.
No,
That'd be a little hard.
Just let the farmers handle that.
Let the people who know what they're doing do it.
Well, Rancho Robin Rescues, it's located in the East San Jose foothills. They started in 2015 with just 3 hens.
Amazing. Well, so far they've rescued more than 250 animals and provided a forever home for them on their 12-acre farm.
So I don't know if you've seen this before. There's like a lot of advertisement like aimed at like older people, telling them that like raising alpacas is like some kind of investment, some kind of like way for them to make money. I don't know if you've seen this.
I was not aware of that at all when I put this on the docket. No, that's news and makes the story seem a little more make a little more sense. Yeah, this is similar to, in a way, adjacent, I think, to all the folks during COVID or who were feeling kind of lonely, got a pet to be in their little bubble with them, but never really thought about what it takes to actually, keep another life form alive and to nurture it and treat it with respect. And it's no big secret why insurance companies, including my own health insurance company, are now offering pet insurance. Because a pet, it does become a dependent. It's not a full-fledged kiddo maybe, but it's certainly a dependent in your life. So you've got to treat, no matter if it's an alpaca or it's a titmouse, you got to respect the titmouse. You got to respect the alpaca. Don't keep your alpaca to yourself. And if you're going to raise one, and don't just think it's really cute and then move on later. 'Cause it's not fair to the animal, not fair to you.
And not for nothing, they said, people buy people fucking animals as pets or animals as gifts. Don't buy somebody a gift pet. If somebody wants to get a pet, they should go get it them fucking selves. Because if you're just like, here's a kitty, and I'm like, oh, well, now I guess I have to take the kitty.
Right? Like, what do you say to that, right? Like, no, take it back, right? Return this shit. Can I get a refund or store credit?
Right, don't buy, like, if somebody, like, okay, if your kids or whatever have been like begging you for a dog or a cat or whatever, and okay,
that's a little different, yeah,
that's
like
the family, but like I think people buy other people pets as gifts, and I just, that's again, like a cat, it's like a little kitten. You're like, oh my God, that's so adorable. I can't keep that. What do you do? I mean, I don't know. You just
call your local no-kill shelter or find a place like a R&R or whatever it was, Rick's Refuge.
or whoever bought it for you, you're like, no, you bought yourself a cat. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's your cat.
Sorry. You must have a cat thing. You know, you're projecting it on me. Good luck to the alpaca. Good luck to all the animals that end up in that. Looks like a good spot to get your forever home, right? Getting fed, getting to run around a bit. So not too bad, not too shabby.
Hanging out with you.
Totally. You get to check out his junk all day long. So, yeah, you know, not a bad life given the circumstances. So, yeah, find a place like that if you really can't hang with your pet. And it's better for them. It's better for you if you just own up to that and get them the help they need if you're not willing to be there for them. So,
well, right, great. Well, I guess that's the show. You want to read it out?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for tuning in, loyal listener. Wish we could have done this one live this week, but, you know, pixelated councilman just couldn't get it done. But hopefully you've enjoyed tonight's episode. We'll see you just about every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. live on Twitch. And remember to get your vaccinations and wear your maskies when appropriate. And pants are entirely optional. Just ask the bad baby. This is going to be Audible Smoke playing you out, and we'll have a wonderful week and see you on the other side of Thanksgiving. Peace.
To get the party started, pick up my phone just to check and see who's calling. Dress up real nice for the ladies at the bar, and I'm driving in my car just to get to where they are. Here at the local scene is where I plant my feet. It's where I smoke my cigarette and I hold my drink. I look at all my friends, they're all blazing greens. Here at the front of the stage, waiting for MTV. Where are those guys who's standing next to me with a pipe in his hand, ready to blaze for me? About 5 minutes later, we're all singing Queen. Let's get the fuck up on stage, man, rock the scene, yeah. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. I turn and head back to the bar for a refill, man, because you know where we are. We're headed out to the car to smoke another one and another one. Now just when the magic starts kicking in, I hear relapse playing, you know it's time to head in. Alright everybody, now it's time to grab a new drink. Spark it if you got it and then pass it to me, yeah. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. Last up on the bill for the show tonight is Down and Dirty at 5, so we're headed outside to spark up another joint. Now who's got my lighter? Stoner E, of course, shouldn't you be inside? I'm all up in this bitch being who I gotta be. I'm fucked up like the US economy. The truth is that I don't think logically. Stoner E take you on a psychedelic odyssey. Now inside motherfuckers is rocking me, and outside shit we smoke a lot of broccoli. Rocky the roller, yo, that sexy girl be jocking me. Ain't too drunk to fuck, but I'll probably do it sloppily. We do what we want, to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy the band, enjoy the band. We do what we want, to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Molly say that he like jamming, and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Well, Bob Marley said that he liked jamming, and he hope we like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yeah, we do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back.